Hello, it's August 3rd of 2023. This is a BartonSmock. I was going to do a reading of some of my poems, some of my older poems, and then some newer poems from my two most recent self-published collections. One called Apartures, and one called Dear as Permission to Die in Ohio. Both are self-published and available by Venmoing, PayPaling, or CashApping me, whatever you'd like. There, pay what you want. Yeah, let's go. See how long this takes me to fail. This poem's titled Rabbit Ache. I can't sit for very long without wanting to smoke. This is the flower I pick for my ghost. Realm ache. I stand in a ruined field and preach longevity to a God that stares through me at the empty high chair of some freckled thing. My age is with me there, and there to mean how far can I throw my food. If I close my eyes, I can see touch as a mirror that's been used by my mother to describe sleep. Sleep interrupts the wrong past. A swimmer doing a handstand, a wrist from the world of dolls, an Ohio squirrel sharpening a baby's tooth, doom as it strokes thunder's hair, vandals protecting the dreams of one beached whale, the earaches that learn of my son whenever my knees touch, the suicide recorded by the longest god. Blood notes. There is no earlier dream, no slipping from the past of every beast we haven't eaten. God has two sticks, dog and echo. All snow was born in a cigarette. Blood notes. Loss isn't the only child of death, but is the most spoiled. Disappearance has its limits. Animals don't waste their pain. Blood notes. Sex remembers death as the skinner of sleep. Touch invents a past it can fix. The crucifixion. I'm in water up to my chin. No one looks at my body. I often believe myself to be dying and fail to miss the restorative absence of touch. On a blue arm, a mosquito, born in God's erasable kiss. A dream so early to the unmoving dog. Most movies are hidden by sleep. Interiority. A midday animal on land, dumbstruck by the holy effort it takes to forget God. The nocturnal grief of apples. Alien and angel having a quiet moment before abducting from the high dive our least favorite swimmer. The naming of the star my cigarettes worship. A paw print sleeping on a heartbroken whale. Country silence. Has a father worshiping a balloon animal and a mother caring in her sleep for sleep. Has a sick son relearning in church how long a past life lasts. Has you writing this beside the ghost of a fish to a God whose thoughts on children have changed. Has in it no maker who hasn't already made field recordings for those who miss emergency rooms. Has in it owls lost in the attention span of the gentle, owls born with all their teeth. The year our son thought we loved him lasted longer than most dogs, but there was this one stray we saw often. It had one abandoned, healthy eye, inside of which our belongings were small enough to have. After notes. There's a part of my left hand that seems to know a fish with a nosebleed. If I could open the book of touch, I would open the book of touch. My son has a cough that haunts the leg of a wasp, and his singing lives in a blank mother's bottle of glue. Death recognizes more creatures than God. Could be we're only attractive when thinking about the past. I know how long you are old. Those were some earlier poems, probably like 2020 through 2022 or something like that. I'm now going to read some poems from Dear as Permission to Die in Ohio. Cover is by my son, Noah Smock. The sleep God gets. Lightning finds a vein. Password sends a nude. Small poems against dying. The sleepwalker and the insomniac asking God to switch their hidden pregnancies. A vaccine for object permanence. The fly my ghost calls rain. Small poems against dying. In reverse, the baby looks like it's hoping the doctors build a machine. I smoke on the roof and my brother gets a nosebleed in the cellar of a house we're not going to buy. Art invents time to impress pain. Small poems against dying. Erasing the scarecrow's ankle with a cigarette, cutting the hair of the crucified, stars and jobs and stars. Against poems. God forgets things before they happen. In 3rd or 4th grade, I was pulled out of a bathroom stall by a boy who'd been nice to my mother, and I was told what should or should not be in my stomach. There was another boy with him. A city named Empty and a city named Goldfish took turns burning. I missed the future, the past more. Small poems against dying. I fear my body. Shape sends flowers to a ghost. They arrive, then don't. Small poems against dying. Empty stomach, crow with a crushed heart. Owl, dark ambulance. This is in Ohio, where an ear swam into my ear, where God won't visit pain and pain will a graveless cemetery in the field of my sex. I'll love almost anything. Blank moment, distracted by the present, our first past. Small poems against dying. The turn takers, God and sleep. Southern attempts at non-graphic violence. A mother's pet wasp. A boy not able to overhear. Spider spelling psalm. An allness. Apple bones and future lambs. Nostalgia in miniature. God thought there'd be more of us. These next poems are from a collection of mine called Apartures. Response poems written in no city. 1. My siblings' white noise machine reminds angels that they've no young. There are 3 light switches per rooster. They are the overlooked church of the eel, Frog's empty life. God sees an image that's been moved by me. 2. Everything being done is done outside of a horse. Your mother's hearing loss keeps my voice from changing. Lightning dreams itself into a cat thrown from a moving car. A lit match enters a flashlight. 3. Dear Ohio, the ocean is worried about a trapdoor. Also about the ocean, I want you to think about the number of limbs remembered by a bite mark. And then our little Satan using the same bowl for his food that he does for his water. 4. Body language being kept alive in a ghost town. Wynn's missing child can't get sick. 5. Loss sees its mother in its mother. Not all of us die. In hell, one forgets hell's naked birds. Empty says it has a twin. Far says nothing. 6. The movie feels more alone than the movie it isn't. One of us has been kissed on the stomach. Going outside confuses God. 7. Those years, 2 or 3 of them, where every shortstop went missing. That cop who turned his siren on and couldn't get it off. Each unrecognizable baby. The God we looked at to remember God. The graves we joke, left out in the rain. 8. Mother, father, and their backward sunburns. Movies that ache for moon. A dog no closer to the stick that we shared while in the stomach of a heartbroken horse. Food poisoning as remembered by God. One of every 3 fish praying first for stone and then for bird. The unmarked math of your remade mouth. A cigarette in love with a nail. Aparture 3. 2 misidentified boys in a field of handstands are having a funeral for a bicycle. Their fathers aren't dead but bring the same car horn to every town. How about that field? I am not crushed when sleep forgets how to hold me. Aparture 9. 2 birds with 1 deer. Touches touch, teaching touch, the backstroke. The nude thinks snow can die. The diagnosis. We walk to the car. Sometimes the car is different. If I look closely, I can see that I've put my son under my shirt. A video of a mother's finger getting shut in a car door gives me a toothache. Searching lessens the find. There aren't many pictures of us with our mouths open. There are things we can do to make it look like we don't go outside. Choice is a medicine. You can't eat or you can write. But you can't do either. Clearly, thunderstorm, Jesus had such a short memory that God became necessary. All babies in my dream dream. Aparture 10. Time gives itself a childhood. Alien, animal, beast, breast. God loves a beginning. Painkillers don't age. How to live in last Ohio. Keep getting the same sore throat. Hit puberty in a cornfield while listening for dogs. Give for free your father's tadpole to a thief in a shrinking city. Take no joy. The baby furthest from God. Brother uses the same doll for surgery that he does for tea. It doesn't save time, but we're poor. Aparture 15. Time will never know how long it took for God to ruin the image. Ask me about distance. I was asleep and my kids were alive. In every city, his gun says the same thing. In Ohio, they found bits of rock candy in the infant's stomach. Angels go through eyelids like water. Aparture 16. We buy mirrors instead of art. The wasps scrape and gather here, then drag themselves to a higher emptiness when I hold the baby. Men lose first a button, second a broom, then love a dog. Everyone outside is sick. A paper cut sets fire to a ghost. Hypnosis. Tornado, movie set, sex, a palm burned by the brain of a baseball, frozen street lamps, reading mouth as moth, a mother giving a mother moth to moth, touch as the author of Swimming to God. Hypnosis. I wrote about death. Say that. Say also that I thought breaking my arm would keep me from getting erections. Say I was nonviolent. Say groundhog, say shovel. Say I had no weapon. Say some lived because I rented a movie and others because I waited for it to rewind. Say I was there but my wrist was late. Pick a wrist, but be shy, not like you would a child. Hypnosis. Sleep, death, leapfrog, two infants swallowing a blip from the same radar, a few pianos made of frostbite, reading moan as moon, then moon as moan, a circle writing a poem for God, hip bone, jawbone, teeth brushed over a bowl that remembers nothing. Hypnosis. Eye factory, fog, touch machine, paintbrush, bicycle, reading lice as less, a dog with 9 lives, movie deer, God pretending to make a forgetful sister for me to live above, the far stomach, an unset mousetrap, the noiseless ear of baby stick legs, face tattoos of empty handguns, your red doll's hospital bed, comb as comb. This will be the last little thing here. This is called Something About Caregiving. Something About Caregiving with an Appearance by Ethan Hawke. So up late early with the haunt speak of worry and general sense of appropriate doom, but also appropriate play and how there is laughing and being silly, and the reason no one tells you how lonely it all is beforehand is all in the words before and hand. So here I am still in the math after of this dream where I was being chased by a demon, and I had this oversized tote bag with all my stuff in it, and I'm running in and out of closets and jumping turnstiles, and the bag is just keeping me from being my fastest self, and I end up in a hotel room hallway, and out of a door on my left emerges Ethan Hawke, and he takes the bag from me, empties it, and in the bag is a smaller bag. And he puts all my stuff in the smaller bag and says he could use the larger, so I say it is his, and then we are going down this spiral staircase, and I hear the demon hissing, and Mr. Hawke tells me to go back up and he'll go down. So I do, and at the top of the stairs, I have this sudden stomach pain and look down, and my insides are coming out, and I fall down the stairs. And when I stop falling, I am on top of Ethan, and I roll off of him, and he starts taking all my insides and shoving them into his stomach, which I see has a hole in it. And then, of course, I am no longer asleep, and think now that I am up and worried and alone and in one piece. Maybe I'll watch Adopt a Highway, as it's the only Ethan Hawke movie that's come out recently that I haven't seen, and maybe this will save my son, this watching, this not sleeping, this having of my own insides.